Yeah, you can start.
So yes, we'll start with Vlookup, or even before that, so let me explain you what are lookup functions. The lookup functions are they are especially known for using a key value or a search value. Based on that, we are going to get the other details associated with that value. So it could be in an employee database, it could be an employee ID, or let's say you have booked a train and you get a PNR, and that's a lookup value, I can say, or a key value. And let's say you were a student and you were given a registration number. So all these things play as unique IDs, the IDs which could identify all the other details of you. So using that, we are going to make use of other lookup functions like Vlookup, HLOOKUP, index and match, and a mix of these, and get our job done. So I'll start with Vlookup today. See, Vlookup means to vertically look for or to vertically search a value. Before we search a value, we should make sure few things over here. That is, your search value should be on the leftmost column of your data. See, let's say I'm considering this as my data, and since my lookup value is the employee ID that I have chosen, it should be on the leftmost part of the data that you select. See, this data is your source. This is where you want to search the employee details of whom you have the number. So only that person's details you would require, not all of them. And it would be very exhaustive to go row by row to search his or her details. This lookup functions can be used across the sheets, that is one sheet to another sheet, and also across workbooks. I'll first explain you all the lookup functions, then I'll give you an example of one of them across the workbook and across the sheet also, because all these can be used across the workbook and across the sheet. But before I show you that, I want you to learn all the functions first. So as I said, for applying VLOOKUP, we should first check whether our search value or lookup value is present in the leftmost column. If it is there, then next thing that I have to check for is whether that column has got unique values in it. Only then I am going to get the accurate values. So you should be wary of these two things. See, I took the example of employee ID. So it is also one of the first columns in my table. Now, there are many people whose data will run into hundreds of columns. So they would not like to choose the entire table for their search or applying VLOOKUP for that. So in this example, I can take this SSN and tell you, if this is my selection, if I am choosing SSN, region and department. So you can see SSN is in the leftmost column of my selection. So this criteria should satisfy to apply VLOOKUP. So you need to remember this rule. Only then we should start with VLOOKUP. So let me show you that. See, let's start with it, equal to VLOOKUP. So once you give the function, you have some parameters. You can look at it. Lookup value, table array, column index number, and range lookup. These are the parameters that you have to provide in the lookup function, VLOOKUP function. Lookup value is your search value. You're going to choose this. And table array, you can choose the entire table at once. It's always better to do that, because you could just change the column value and get any columns details you want. So let me do there. I'm selecting the entire table now, comma, column index number. See, I require name. name is mentioned on top of this, what result I require, and what I have mentioned over here, that decides the column number. So what do I want of this employee ID? I want name, and I should provide the column number of the data that I require. See over here, name is in the second column, so I'll mention 2. The next thing, you can look at the formula in the formula bar. So rather than looking it on the sheet, you can check here in the formula bar. The next parameter is range lookup. See here you are deciding what type of match do you want. Whether you want to check for an exact match of the search value or an approximate match. See, if you don't provide anything in this place, by default, it will choose approximate match. So don't forget to give false or mention 0. Either of them will work. But don't leave it blank, because approximate match will work fine only if your data is sorted. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, and yeah, so these are the things that you have to remember. I mentioned 0, I press an enter. Sandra Lawrence. So you can check here E015. That's Sandra Lawrence. So I can just go here and change the column number and get another detail if I want. So now let's say for the same person, I would like to get the earnings. Earnings is in the 6th column. You can count. Employee ID is first, name is 2, SSN 3, region 4, department 5, and earning is 6th column. You can choose 6 over here. And press enter, you will get the earnings of the same person. Say over here. So basically what's happening is, whatever lookup value you provide, that will be searched vertically, okay, in this direction. Once it searches for the lookup value that you have provided, it will stop at that row and it will move to the column number that you specify. That's how VLOOKUP works. Is it clear? All of you? Do you have any doubts in this part?
Clear, Vidya.
Okay. So now I gave it in a single column. Now if I have to copy paste this formula to other cells, I should make few things absolute. So just the reason I was stressing more on the cell references that day. So over here, you can see if I just copy paste it straight away to other cells. So this is the problem. I'll show you. The lookup value, the reference on the lookup value has moved. And also you can observe here the table array selection is also moved. So you can check here. See, we had to select from employee ID. The selection of table array has also moved. To avoid such things, we should make sure the selection of this lookup value is constant and also the table array is constant. As long as I'm using only one employee ID, keep that in mind. So I'll just select the range of cells. I'll press F4. It is made absolute now. I'm going to repeat the same for employee ID also. I'll press F4. It's done. And now I'll copy paste it. It gives me the same result due to the column number that we have provided. So it is taking all the 6th column data only. Now let me change it. For name it is 2. And for department it should be 5. And for earnings it should be 6. For region it should be 4. So once you give it, and now if you keep changing the employee ID, it still works like that. Now what if, see, I'll change this employee ID. It's giving me the first employee's details over here. Now what if I gave a wrong ID? I gave an ID which is not there in this table array that I have selected. I'll give something like this. It will give me an NA error. See, whenever you provide a lookup value which is not present in your table, it will throw you NA error. This is known as not available. So to get this, it would have searched all the records that you have selected in the table array, and then it will display this. Clear? So you should, whenever you get this, you should understand that particular value is not there in your selection. If it is there, it will provide you for sure. So this is about Vlookup. It first looks for the value vertically. It will stop at the row where the lookup value is present, and it will move to the column number that you specify. If I mentioned column number 2, it will fetch the value from second column. If I say sixth column, it will fetch the value from sixth column from the same row of your lookup value. So if you're clear with this, we'll move to the HLOOKUP function. Are you clear? Are you all clear? Do you have any doubts?
No, it's okay. It's clear.
Okay. So next is HLOOKUP. See, HLOOKUP, the direction of looking is different. Here, VLOOKUP, let it be HLOOKUP or VLOOKUP, both are doing the same job. Only thing is, they are working in a different direction, that's all. They are getting the value from different direction. So let me give an example for that. See over here. See, we have total sales, cost of sales. So all these things mentioned in the rows and all quarters in the columns. Now, when I take a lookup value in HLOOKUP, to use it in HLOOKUP, again over here you have to keep few things in mind. That is, your lookup value should be present in the topmost row of your selection. And that topmost row should have unique values. That's the thing. So just like you had leftmost column and unique values in leftmost column in VLOOKUP, so in HLOOKUP, it applies for the topmost row of your selection. Because whatever you provide as the lookup value to your HLOOKUP function, it will search for that from the topmost row of your selection. And once it gets the value that you have provided, it will stop at that column and it will move to the row number that you specify. So in VLOOKUP, if you have column index number, in HLOOKUP, you have row index number. It will stop at that row and it will get you the value. So let me insert it. You can check the formula that I'm typing in the formula bar because it is going to hide in the cell. So if you want to see the complete formula, you can check in the formula bar. HLOOKUP. See again, you have some parameters. So if you take here, lookup value. Lookup value is Q4 for us. Table array, I'm going to choose the entire table. Row index number, it all depends on what I want to see. So if I want overhead, so what is the row number for overhead that I have to provide. Next, you have range lookup, same thing what you saw in VLOOKUP also. So if you want an exact match, so then you have to provide 0 or false. So it is the same over here. So let me choose this. So here I'll immediately give this F4 absolute because I hope you have understood the importance of changing the cell reference while applying this function. And table array, I'll choose it from this blank cell, including the headers. I'll choose the entire data and immediately I'll make it an absolute reference. And for the row index number, so you can see here, overhead is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth row. And you can choose exact match, or you could also type 0. both work in the same manner. Press enter, you will get it. So quarter 4 overhead is 3520. So overhead for quarter 4 is 3520. If I change the quarter, even the value will change. So I am getting it for quarter 2. So that is 7520. And I copy paste this to other cells. So you can check here. It is giving me the same result due to the row number. Just go change the row index number for net profit. So even before that, let's check the row number. If overhead is 5, marketing is 6, total is 7, and net profit is 8. It's in the 8th row. Now go here and change it to 8 over here. So you're getting it. For quarter 2, net profit is 22,000. So you can check. So you have it here. And the next thing, profit percentage. See here, it's the next row to net profit. I'll change it to 9. You are going to get the value, but the format is different. It's not showing in percentage. So don't panic. You just have to go and change the number formatting to percentage. Then it will display the value properly. Now if I change the quarter over here, then the values will change. I can give any quarter that I want to, and it will give me the values for that. So any doubts in HLOOKUP? Good to go?
Yes.
Okay. So let me teach you index. Index is a function which doesn't go by the search value. It will ask you to provide the entire array selection, that is the table where you want to find the data, and it will ask you to provide the row number and the column number. If you provide these 3 as an input to it, it will get you the data. Unlike Vlookup and HLOOKUP, they strictly require a search value to find the other data that you want. Index, it doesn't ask you for that. So let me provide that to you. Index. I am going to use the first one. So we are not using this used for a different purpose. So the first formula, what you see here, you look at the parameters. It is asking you array, row number, column number. Array is the entire data that I have here. I'll choose it. And I'll make it absolute. Yes. This one also absolute. Okay. Comma. Next is row number. So we have employee ID E015. I have to provide its. Okay, sorry guys. I've done some mistake in taking the data. Let me correct it immediately. Okay. I'll take department. I'll just make a copy of the same. So over here, I'll take index. Okay. Choose this array. Then make it absolute. Next thing is row number. So suppose I want, the customer support over here, or I just assume any row number and column number for that matter, and just provide 5th row, 2nd column. We have only 2 columns here, so you can give only 1 or 2. I give this. I have chosen the first column. So it gives me marketing. So let us see in the fifth row. So let me add numbers here so that you'll understand it properly. It should be giving us customer support now. But since I have selected the entire table, including the heading, so even the heading is considered as the first item in your table. So in index, your selection matters a lot. So what selection you do? So all the rows in that selection are considered as the row items or the data items. So I'll reduce the selection till here, then you'll get it proper. Customer support. The fifth row data is customer support. This is first column and this is second column. So let us give over here. I'll just copy paste the same thing towards the right side. And I'll change the column number to 2. It will give me the earnings part of it. See? Over here. So why I chose this is, you can see these values are repeating many times. So it could be customer support or human resource or anything for that matter. But index doesn't require it because it's not searching anything. It is going by the reference that you provide. You just say, I need the data present in fifth row and first column. It will go fetch the data for you. It is not looking for any value and then deciding upon it. So that's the reason I had removed the other columns. Yeah. Do you understand this? And any doubts over here? Yes, no.
सर ये इसलिए क्योंकि
No, Vidya, it's okay.
Someone had a doubt?
Yeah, basically, we understood this function, but I didn't understand why anybody would use it and for what purpose.
Index, is it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that when I use match together. Okay.
Okay.
So whom did I speak to?
Manisha.
Manish. Okay, Manish. Yes. So let me show you match now. So match is a function used to get the index of any given item. Now let's say you prepare a grocery list, or your wife comes in and say, have you written dal and all that? So you can say, yeah, I've written it in the third row. So that kind of index match does. So you provide an item to it, it will find for its position in the list that you provide. So even in match, your selection matters. So if you are using the headings in the selection, even that is treated as the first item. So be careful with these things. Match. And match has another restriction. You can choose either a column or one single row. That's all. You cannot choose multiple rows and columns in match. It will throw an error. It doesn't give any output. Let's say the lookup value is this employee ID. I want to find its position. And I choose the column in which it is present. And it is going to, where is the selection? So this should be the selection. Yeah. So it is there in the first item of the list that I have selected. Here you can observe I have not selected the heading part. If I do, it will give me the answer as second row because it is considering all these items in the list and the position of E001 to be the second one in the list. That's what match does. But where is this useful? So you must have seen here. Someone is there in the waiting room. Please hold. Okay, so you can check. We gave all these row numbers and column numbers in the lookup value manually. So we counted those columns or rows manually and we got it done. Now if I want to automate it, let's say automatically it should change based on the value that I give on this column. So let me choose it. I'll copy this and paste it here. I'll say using match. See over here, you can check. We gave the column index number manually, but I don't want to mention it this way. Tomorrow, if someone comes and changes the heading, so I don't want to see the same values over here. And it is quite a tough job again if you have many columns to go and change the column numbers also. It's going to be very difficult. So what we can do is include match function within this, because we know what match does. It will take either a column or a row as an input, and within that row and column, whatever value that I want to search, so it will get me the position of that item. That's what match is doing. So that will be really helpful to me in case of finding these column positions based on their name. So let me give that match value over here. See, we gave 2 for name in this. So I'll use match function and get that output. Lookup value would be, so which column's position do I want to search for? That is this one. I have the name of that column present here. I'll choose it. And then I'll take this heading of these, this data. It's changing a lot. Okay. Match, choose this, give a comma, select only the heading. I said it can take only one row or one column. Make it absolute, comma. Even here you have exact match, less than and greater than. So it is something similar to your approximate match and exact match. So just mention 0. So you can check. It gives me 2. So let us see after changing the column name here, whether the match value is going to change. I'll give region. You can see here, it will change. So region is the 4th column. It will give me the position. So if I say SSN, again it's going to change for me. So by using this match function within Vlookup, I'll be able to automatically get the values of a given ID automatically without me breaking my head to count the column numbers. So what I have to do, I'll just copy this match function, press enter. I go here in place of 2. I'll paste it. That's the column index number. I'll paste it over there and press enter. So this time I'll copy paste the values. So you can see here, it automatically gives me the values. So if I go here and change it to employee ID, let's say, even that is displayed to me. Or I change it to SSN, that will give me the value of SSN. So this is really helpful to keep it dynamic. So if you change the column headings, automatically the value fetched will also change. So you understood this part, including match function, all of you?
Yes.
If you have any doubts, we can go a little slower than this because I have another important combination of index match to be taught. It's a little confusing one, but I'll go slow and make sure you understand it properly.
Madam, I just have one question here.
Yes, tell me.
Not regarding the match, it's regarding about the index. So what is the difference between VLOOKUP doing and index doing it?
VLOOKUP and index. See
Yes.
here, again, Manish also asked the same question. See here, whether you're using VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, I said there are few restrictions or some rules to be followed, that your ID should be present in the leftmost column, and another thing, that particular column or row should have unique values, but index doesn't have any such complications. The reason why VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP will ask you to keep the search value on the leftmost part is it can look only in single direction. That is the disadvantage of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. That's the drawback of it. So HLOOKUP can look only in this direction, and VLOOKUP can only look towards its right side. Now let's say, suppose I choose SSN as my lookup value, and I want to get the name and employee ID of that person. I would not be able to do with this structure of data. Understood? Because it is on the left hand side of this SSN column. If I choose the SSN to be my lookup value, then I can't get employee ID and name using VLOOKUP. But using index, yes, I can. Because index is not bothered where you keep your value. It is only going to ask to give the row number and column number, and it will fetch the data for you. And if the functionality of index is this, and the next advantage of index is it is less time consuming. And how to explain? See, there are a lot of things in the background happening. So we say time complexity. So VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions are heavier. So they increase your file size if you provide it in huge number of rows and columns. So what happens if one of the items is not there in the data and you have 10,000 row items? To say or to provide that NA error, it will search all the 10,000 rows and then it is going to give you that. So if it is for one value to provide NA, it is taking so much of time. Imagine you have 100 values which is going to give you NA, and how much of time is lost in it. So using index has got a lot of advantage over VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. But people tend to use VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP because of its formula is quite easy. If you are using index and match, it is going to be lengthier. That's the only difference. But it has got more advantages compared to VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Is that clear now, Manish?
Yes.
Okay. So let me show you the combination of index and match. I'll take the same example of this VLOOKUP over here. And change this to index match combo. So yes, see over here. So let me remove this part. Now let's say I have an SSN instead of employee ID. And using SSN, I have to get the value of other columns. So I'll randomly take some SSN over here. And I'll empty these cells. See, the format is different, but don't worry, it is fine. See, this looks different, but still fine. The value is same, so not to worry. Or if you are very particular about it, let's copy this and say values and number formats. I'll get this. So now I'll use index and match together and get the lookup done for you. So same thing, whatever you did in Vlookup and HLOOKUP, you can achieve it through index also. That's the reason I took SSN over here, because using SSN, you can't get the value of other columns by using Vlookup function. You should rely on some other function like this, index and match combination. So let us give the values manually first. I'll use index. It will ask you for array. You choose the entire array. This time I'm including the headings also. I'll make it absolute. Next, row number. So let's look for the row number of this particular SSN, 684467. So from SSN you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is the fourth one. So I'll give the row number as 4. See, we considered the position of this SSN value within the SSN column to get the row number. Remember this. So this is going to help us apply match. That's the reason. The next thing, name. Name is in the second column of this data selection that I have done. I'll give 2 over here. Close the bracket. Now I got the data. See, for 684467, we have got the answer. So the name is proper. So how to make it dynamic now? I can't keep giving 4,2, 4,6. So depending on the column and depending on the SSN number, the value should be procured automatically. So to get 4 value, we have to apply match on SSN column. So that is when I get the row number. And to get the column number, I'll apply match on the first, that is a heading row of this table array. So let me give that here. Row number and column number. And I'll use match. So row number is based on the SSN. I'll use match. The value that I have to look for using it is this one. I'll make it absolute because throughout all the other columns, I should be using the same value to look for. And I'll choose this SSN column, including the heading. Because in index table array, we have selected the heading part also. I'll select this. I'll make it absolute, comma, match type and say 0, close the bracket. Again, for column number, so depending on what's there on top of this, so what is there over here, that decides the column number. So I'll take match of name. Name is what I have to look for. And I will consider from employee ID till earnings, and I'll make it absolute because I have to get the column number only from this selection. It says 0, present. We got these 2 values, 4 and 2. Now I'm going to include these 2 in the index function, one by one. So we'll copy this match function excluding equal to, copy this, press enter, go here, and in place of 4, paste it. And again, press enter. So now we have to copy this match function, excluding equal to, press enter immediately after you copy, because during this copy time, So it is in the edit mode. So immediately if you choose any cell, it is going to damage your formula. So that's the reason. So over here, in place of 2, I'll paste it and press enter. I'll just copy paste it to other cells. You can see the values will get populated automatically. So the advantage of this index and match combination is you don't have to worry about the direction in which you have to look for, because it is taking care of it by match functions that we have provided. Is it clear? Any doubts in this? Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, no doubts in this?
No.
Fine. See, this time I'll show you lookup from one sheet to another sheet. I'm using this. I'm only going to take this part. I'll use another sheet here. So across sheet, I'll say. You can use any of these functions across the sheet. I'm showing you VLOOKUP in across the sheet and across the workbook. So you could use any of them. So it is not applicable only to this VLOOKUP thing. You should not assume it that way. So yes, so here I'll mention some employee IDs E005, 9, and let's say 3. I'm not giving it an order. I'm just mentioning few of them. I gave something like this, let's say. Yes, I'll use VLOOKUP over here, VLOOKUP function. See here, I'll say VLOOKUP. Lookup value is the employee ID. See, now I can't make this absolute completely. The reason, as soon as I copy paste this particular formula to other cells below, the reference to this E005 should change to E009, 3, 11, 15, likewise. So the row number should change. But I want the reference to this column, employee ID column, to remain constant. So I'll keep B absolute. So I'll give B absolute and row number 5 is relative. Next, table array. See, where should we look it up from? From this sheet. I'm taking it from VLOOKUP sheet. And go here. I'll choose the data entirely. And I'll make it absolute. I don't want the selection of this data to move. Give a comma after selecting in the sheet. So if you don't give it, as soon as you go back to the sheet where you're giving the formula, the sheet name will change. So to avoid it, make sure you give a comma right after you select the data in a different sheet. So now you can see the sheet name also over here, along with the selection. So this indicates B4 and G44 from VLOOKUP sheet, not from across this sheet. So not from this sheet. So next, column index number, again go back to this. We can use match now. I'll say match. The lookup value will be name. See, again name that I have selected here, the selection for match function should always lie in this row only. So you will get the row number only by looking at name, department, earnings, and region. When we are copy pasting it, we should make sure the row number will not move from 4. It should remain same. So I'll keep the row number 4 absolute. And lookup array. See, for the column number of this heading, I will get it in Vlookup sheet. So go back to that sheet, choose from the header, only the header part, and keep it absolute. Give a 0. See, if you are getting confused, you can split it into 2 different functions and later combine it. I am assuming you all have understood, so I am giving the match function directly in Vlookup. So after I stop this, you can let me know if you understood or not. So we have given the column index number. The range lookup for Vlookup is 0. Close it, press enter. So now we have got the value for this. I'll copy paste this. So we have got the names for these employee IDs. I'll copy paste towards the right side. I'll get the values for other columns also. So clear with this part, all of you?
Yeah, we are clear.
No doubts, right? So I'll show you across the workbook, how to work across the workbook.
So, madam, if we don't use the match here, we will get only names, right?
Because you would have provided only 2 over here in place of match. So in all these cells, you will see only the name part.
So because of match formula, we are getting even department, earnings, and region.
Yes, you are right. But if you are not comfortable using match, you can manually change the column numbers. Like for department, you should go and change in the formula the column number to 5 and earnings to 4 and region to 6. Then it will change. Since we wanted it to be dynamic and get the results automatically, I used match function there.
Got it, madam. Thank you.
Okay. So now the same example I'll show you across the workbook. So let me share that to you. Are you able to see this book 4? Yes or no? Are you able to see book 4 and sheet 1 here? Please answer.
The same sheet is visible where you worked on across the worksheet.
Okay. Yes. So now I guess it is visible to you. I changed it. Yeah. So now again, I'm going to use VLOOKUP, but this is from a different workbook. So remember that. So I'm going to use the same formula, no difference, but we are trying to get values from different workbooks. So previously it was in the same workbook, but different sheets. This is different workbooks. You use VLOOKUP. Again, this is lookup value. I'll keep the column absolute here. Table array. So now I have to select that from a different workbook. So I'll change the screen settings. So now I guess if I change the workbooks, you'll be able to see it. Are you able to see it? No, I guess. I don't think so.
No.
Okay. So I have to choose this lookup this thing, and from the VLOOKUP sheet, I'll have to select the data again. So you can see here in the formula bar, you will be able to see the workbook name. I have named it as lookup function examples, and it is also showing you the workbook extension .xlsx. And within this workbook, we are selecting the data from VLOOKUP sheet. So you are seeing the sheet name as well. And in that sheet, we have selected from B4 to G44. After you are done with this, you will again, you can start giving match function if you want. So you can go here. I'll choose book 4 now. See, are you able to see this? So here I'll again choose match. I'll select name over here, and I'll keep the row absolute. And for this, the lookup should be got from lookup function examples. So from this sheet, should go here. I should choose this. See again, even within match, you can see the workbook name and the sheet name from where we are selecting it. So as soon as I give this, I should give 0 for match and 0 for VLOOKUP, and we'll get the result. So you can see the result now, I guess. You see, you look at the formula, it looks quite lengthy because of the workbook names included, but it is as simple as it was before. You all are able to see the formula, right?
Yes, Vidya.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
The same manner, press enter. You just have to copy paste it, and it's going to work fine. You are getting the data now. So this is how you can use lookup functions across the sheets, in the same sheet, and across workbooks also. So is it clear? Shall we move on to the next chapter if you're done with it?
Yes.
So anybody else has any doubts?
Yes, Vidya, that's fine.
Okay.
Madam, for me, it's this one is this formula is confused me. Could you please show me one more time, if possible?
Yeah, sure. I'll show you once again. That's because my screen sharing allows only one screen at a time. So here we have to toggle between one workbook to another workbook. See, the formula is completely the same. Only from where you are referring the data will change. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, fine. So shall we move on to the next chapter then?
Sure.
I'll share the screen. So just give me a second. So you all are able to see this, different types of errors.
Yes.
Okay, fine. See over here, you can see a lot of errors being mentioned. See, this chapter is all about how to deal with errors that you get when you're working on formulas. So usually when you are using some formulas, you might get some errors. Whenever you encounter them, how to solve it or to understand why you got them, we have kept this chapter. So I'll just brief you about it and we'll move on to the next chapters quickly. You also have a detailed PDF on this. Okay, I'll give you only few examples. Then you can go back and check it in detail. So currently, you see this hash symbol. That's because the value present inside is not getting enough amount of space to be displayed. So the number is bigger and the column size is small. That is when you get this error. So what you could do is just increase the column size and it will work fine. It's not a big error, something that indicates the column size is not enough. That's all. So next is division by zero error. See, this error you will get whenever, let's say you divide a number by zero, or there is some expression that is evaluating to zero and you are uh, dividing a number by that expression, or you are referring to a cell which has become blank. So these are some of the examples that I can give you when you find this division by zero error. I'll quickly show you this. And let's say I have to divide two numbers. Yesterday when you were learning if error, I guess you must have come across this. So I'm just randomly picking this. This is not the formula to calculate growth percentage. Just to show you what happens when you choose a cell with zero for dividing a number. I'll just say current year by prior year. And you can see here, you get division by zero error because D10 is a cell which has got zero in it. So this happens the same even if that is blank. Nothing improves. Unless and until there is some number, it keeps showing you division by zero error. And there could be something, an expression like this. Let's say this minus the same value again. So this is a formula that is evaluating to zero. Even in this case, you will get division by zero error. So whenever you get this division by zero error, without panicking, you just go and check what's happening there, correct it, and you'll get your answer. N error we saw just few minutes ago when we used Vlookup. So we have an employee ID which is not there in this particular table. I can again show you using Vlookup here. So just give me a second, guys. I'll close this window. Yeah. Vlookup. So this is the lookup value that I pick up, and I choose the table array. I give 2 as the column number and 0 as the match, exact match. You get NA because of this ID. If I change the ID, you should get the value. You can check. For E003, it is Melinda McGregor. You get the value. But if you randomly give some employee ID which is not there in your selection, it will throw you an error. And next one is reference error. See, this is an error which occurs in many instances, not in one, many actually. I'll give you the scenarios where you'll see reference error. The best example is Vlookup only again. I'll choose Vlookup. So before that, I'll go here, I'll change this to some known value. And I'll start giving Vlookup. So this is the lookup value and table array. And in column index number, I'll just mention something like 9. It says 0. See, it will give me reference error because you see we have only 6 columns available in our data. But in my formula, I'm trying to refer to 9th column. So there's a mistake here. So that is when you get reference error. This is one example where you see reference error. And another example, I guess you might have come across, but let me show you. So let's say I have two numbers here. And I've used these numbers in some other calculation. Let's say sum of these two into 2 or 4, let's say. So I've used this, used these cells as an input to some other formula here. It could be in the same sheet or in some other sheet. Let's say for some reason, these cells got deleted. See, deleting the content is different. It becomes 0, that's all. But if I delete that cell altogether, so that is right click and delete. See, it will ask you for these options. I'll say just shift cells to left. Those cells are gone. So whichever cells you were referring to, it is gone. So for that reason also you get reference error. You might have seen these kind of errors. So whenever you have deleted a sheet which was being referenced in a formula, or even a column which was being referenced in some formula, you will get this reference error. So that is one instance. Another instance is, suppose I have values like this. I'll just take few values. Now I want them in uppercase, let's say. I provide that here. I'll choose this and I'll paste it down. I got this in uppercase. So in a hurry, so assuming these are some values, I'll have to, and what I will do is I'll cut this and paste it on. So there's a difference in cut and paste and copy and paste. Let me show you that. See, if you copy and paste any cell over here, it is showing you blank because there is no value here. If I give something, it will display the result. Copy paste will retain whatever you have it in that cell. But cut and paste, you see what happens. Or let it be. I'll cut this and I'll paste it here. Cut it. So the reference to this cell has not changed. Even if you have moved it, the reference to the cell has not changed. But that's not the same with copy and paste. The reference moved. So that's the reason you should be very careful while cutting and pasting. So what I do currently is, I have a formula given. I forget about this. I cut this and I paste it right on the input of that formula. So we have lost those cells which were being referred. So that's how you lose it. Is it clear now? Till here, till reference, all different types of errors. No answer? You can be interactive. That's not a problem actually. So unless and until you tell me your feedback, I'll not know because I'm not seeing you.
Vidya, it's clear for me.
Okay. So okay, let's move on. So name error. This is one of the commonly occurring errors. See, when you misspell any function name, so then you get these kind of errors. So let's say for Vlookup, I gave Vlookup. You get a name error. Or even within a function, you are mentioning some other function and you misspelled it. So this name error only says the function that you provided is not existing. That kind of name is not there, not included in the functions. So when you get name error, just check the spelling of your function name. Next, null error. See, this null and num error. These are very rarely occurring errors in Excel. Otherwise, most of the errors that we discussed right now are commonly occurring errors. So let me take this null error. When this occurs is when you are trying to operate on non-consecutive data. When I say non-consecutive, the data that you select is not continuous. So it is distributed. So you're choosing from different places. So at that time, you might get this. Now let's say I want to add numbers, but not from the same set of values. That is not from the same column or same row. So I'll choose this and I'll choose this and I chose something like this. Let's see. I should have given a comma in between. But since I'm busy just selecting the data, I just gave space instead of comma. Then it will give me a null error like this. Or, so people who have the habit of typing the references, they sometimes miss out on these colons. So even then you will get this null error. Otherwise, this is quite uncommon that you see null error. But if you get it, you just check if you have missed some separators. Now, if I provide it properly, it will give me the answer. Okay. So next, value error. This is also one of the common ones, as I said. So whenever the input that you provide is not matching with the parameter type. Let's say in the parameter it is asking you text and you give a number as an input to it. Then it will throw an error. So it could be on a simple multiplication thing also. I'll just multiply. I'm trying to multiply with this. So which is wrong. I'm trying to multiply a number and a text. So then you'll get this value error. And num error. So I guess you all have seen this E in the calculator. So this happens when your calculator is not capable of displaying a number after the calculation. It is overflowing the digits that it can hold. So in case of the computer, even the num error is displayed in that case. So and also if your calculation is not logically correct one, even then it is going to give you such num error. One such example that I can provide you is square root of -2. It will give you num error. Okay, is this clear? All the topics in this chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
Vidya, can you please tell that what you were mentioning about cut paste error? You know, when you copy paste, the things are different, and when you cut paste, the things are different. So in this
Yeah.
particular, you have to cut paste first. Cut paste is preferred, or copy paste is preferred?
There's nothing to do with preference, Sagu. So when you're doing it, just take care of the formulas is what I was telling. I'll explain it to you again over here. So suppose you want to move your cells from one place to another, including whatever is the content, whether it's a formula or a value present in it. So I'll take the same example and just take few cells from here. I used it. I gave upper. I changed this to uppercase. Oh, sorry. I should provide it here. Upper. And I'll choose this. So now if I copy this and paste it to another cell, it is changing the reference. Can you see here? It was J10. It changed the reference to J11. It was J10. It has changed to J11. But if I cut this and paste it elsewhere, the reference to this is not going to change. Only the cell has been moved. So cut operation is done only when you have to move it. And while moving, you should see that your input cells are not overwritten so that you don't get that reference error. That's all. Is it clear now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we'll move on to the next chapter. Just wait for me to share the screen to you. Fine. Are you able to see this now? Formula auditing and formula view.
Yes, Vidya.
Yes.
Okay. So this formula auditing and formula view, meaning of auditing is rechecking or evaluating something or revisiting something with to check the validity or to validate something. So here, let's say we can assume we have got an entire sheet or entire workbook with so many workarounds, so many formulas in it. If at all I have to change something in that, I should be really careful because we don't know which cell is being referred where else and what might, I mean, which other result might get affected by me changing a particular value. So that is when this formula auditing will help us. So if I have to know which cells are the input cells for this formula or which cells are getting affected by changing a particular value, how to look at all the formulas at once in a sheet. So you have so many options like this that are available in the formulas tab. There is an entire group known as formula auditing group. I'll show you here. I click on formulas tab. You can see here there is a group known as formula auditing group. So let me draw it for you. It's not taking. Anyways, so are you able to see this formula auditing group? This part that I'm trying to show you.
Yes, Vidya.
Yes.
Okay. See, over here we have few options. We are going to discuss these options and how it will be helpful to us. So to carefully edit some file which we have already got from our colleagues or some other person who is very important. So first, even before we edit, we want to first check which are the cells that have got formula in it. To know that, I guess I've already shared this tip with you. Control tilde is the shortcut key, or you could also use this show formulas. It's over here. So when you click on it, it is going to see. Just give me a minute. There are few people in waiting room. Yeah. So can you see this now? All the formulas that I've got expanded. So all cells that I've got formulas, they'll expand like this. Instead of displaying the result, they'll be displaying the formulas that they have been typed. So once you are aware of all these formulas present in these cells, so what we'll do, we'll get back to the normal view. Again, click on show formula to get back to the normal view. So now I want to apply trace precedents. See, this trace precedents option is used whenever you want to know the inputs for a given formula. Which are the cell inputs for a given formula? Now suppose I choose this. I know this cell has got a formula in it. See, I use trace precedents. This will show me from which cells I am getting the input from. Can you see this? Say this one and this one is an input to get this result. If I change either this cell or this cell, it is going to affect the result present here. So that is how you are going to know the precedence of a given formula. Precedence or parents, I can say, to get a formula result. Which are the cells that I am going to use it as an input are known as precedent cells. So you can also remove arrows from here. Let it be, I'll show you dependence now. Suppose I choose any cell over here. It could be having a formula or it need not. So you can apply trace precedents only on a cell which has got formula in it. So remember this part. But trace dependence can be applied on any cell. It will only show you the arrows if that cell has been referred anywhere else. Otherwise, no. So I'll select this cell. I'll use trace dependence. So you can see now, these three cells are dependent on the particular cell that I've selected. So this one, this, and this. These three cells are dependent on the value present in this cell. If I change the value here, it is going to affect all these three together. Clear with these two types of arrows, or should I elaborate on it?
It's fine.
Divya, it's fine. Vidya, it's fine.
Okay, okay.
And what is the shortcut key? You said F, control 10 or control?
Control tilde. I don't know if it's going to work in MacBook, Sagu, but just make a note of it. I'm going to share a list of shortcuts in MacBook for it with
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, Vidya.
Okay. Please mute yourselves, guys. So I'm able to hear some cooking sounds. Okay. So let's get back to this now. See that how to differentiate these arrows. I'll tell you about that. See, this is the cell where I gave trace precedence. So let me mark it. I'll mark it with yellow. See this cell I applied trace precedence. So you can see the arrows are converging at that cell. And this cell I used, on that cell I used trace dependence. You can see the arrows are originating from that cell. So that's how you differentiate between precedence and dependence. So dependence, the arrows originate from that cell. When you use trace precedence, the arrows converge at that cell. So that's the difference. And once you're done with these kind of checking, you can remove these arrows. Go back to the formula tab. So you have something known as remove arrows. I want to remove all arrows. Click on it. All arrows will vanish. So next is evaluate formula. Or even before this, we have error checking. See, error checking, as soon as I select it, it will start looking for errors in the entire sheet and it will show me in this manner. It will only navigate from one cell that has got an error to another cell all by itself. That's the navigation buttons that we see here, next and previous. So which is the next cell that has got error, next. You can go on like this. So it is first showing you the address of the cell. So let me use some highlighter here. Yeah. So can you see? So here it will mention the address. So over here you can see the formula present in it. And okay, I'll explain it without that highlighter. Here, unprotected formula. That's the description of the error that you are going to get. It's the heading, and so this is the description box of the error that you are getting. So it says unprotected formula, and on the right hand side, it will provide you all different kinds of options to solve that error. So this one is not a major error, it's just a warning saying the cells are not protected and they have got formulas in it. So if you just click on lock cell, the error is cleared. So we can clear the errors either by looking for help on that error or trying to ignore it altogether, or even edit in the formula bar. If there is any mistake in the formula, you can edit in the formula bar. It provides you an option for that. So likewise, you can keep checking for errors in the entire sheet and solve it at once, so that you don't have to manually go check for cells which has got errors in it. So this error checking is used for that sake. Next is evaluate formula. So one of the favorite options I can say. This is really going to ease you when you have huge formulas. So formulas which are going to run into paragraphs, I can say. So these nested ifs or sum ifs, or even this index and match lookups, sometimes they become very difficult. So we'll not be able to figure out so where exactly which cell is going wrong. So that time this evaluate formula is really helpful. So currently we don't have such a big formula to check here, but let me show you how you can use it. So I have selected a cell with a formula. I'll click on evaluate formula. It will show you in which cell a formula is present, what is the formula, and you have evaluate step in these buttons. When you select evaluate, it will substitute the value of this address. I mean, whatever is present in M10 gets displayed here. Click on it, you see 5266. So that is the value of M10. And you can go on like this. F10, what's the value? How you got this? And again, how you got this value. So that's how you arrived at 53%. So you can check like this. So when you have very huge formulas where you don't know at which point of this formula the error is occurring, you can always go to evaluate formula to check, and you could correct only that part of the formula instead of deleting the entire formula and rewriting it. This will be really helpful one. So are you all clear with this part?
Yes.
Okay. We also have another option known as watch window. This is also a very helpful one. So many of us use formulas across sheets, across workbooks. So whenever we try to enter something in the input file, we would like to check the output also. So for that, you have to navigate to that particular file, open it, to check what is the output. So you have to keep toggling between these files or sheets to see the output. You can avoid it using watch window. I'll give you a very simple example over here. I'll give few numbers. So I'm going to use these numbers far away down the sheet. Say equals and select the numbers there on top. So multiply this with this. So if I have to see the answer, I'll have to scroll down. Again, to check the answer, I have to scroll back, change here. So this keeps happening. So how many times shall we do it? So this is going to be very annoying. So what you can do is, you know what input you provide here. So for this, you don't require any separate window to view. We are only worried about the output that we get once we change these cells. So what I'll do is I'll add a watch to the cell that I want to, keep watching after the changes to my input. So this is the cell. I'll say add watch to it. So it has selected it. I'll say add. So now you can see the book name, workbook name, sheet name, cell name, what value is present, and also what formula is present. So this watch window is going to stay on your window as it is. So even if you scroll, it doesn't scroll, it stays there in one place. Now if I change the input here, you can see the value over here will change. So if I do 10, so I'll change it to 10, you can see the value has changed. So whichever input I change here, it will display the result immediately. And you can add as many numbers, add as many cells as you want in the watch window. And you can keep it. So this could be used to add watch window to other workbooks also, cells present in other workbooks as well. You can see the results in one single window. You understood how to apply add watch?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next chapter. Please wait for me to open the file. Yeah. So now are you able to see this go to special? Go to special. Are you all able to see this?
Yes, Vidya.
Okay. Fine. So this go to special option is very helpful when we have to select only cells which are very specific to us. Like I want to select only numbers, or I want to select only text, or cells with formulas, and the two text formulas or number formulas. So there are number of things like this. I want to only select cells which have got blanks in it. So things like this can be achieved using go to special option. So let me show you that over here. So you just have to use a shortcut Control G, or you can also go to Home tab and in Find and Select. You can see this go to special option. You select it, you will get a window. So if you use Control G, you'll get this, and when you click on special, it will take you there. So this window you need to be familiar with. So you have so many options over here to select. So this is only going to help you select, that's it. It's not going to perform any action on the cells that are selected. That is completely left to your choice. This go to special is helping you to So I'll go here, I'll choose notes. Notes, I was telling you, notes and comments are the same. So in Please answer.
We lost your voice in between there when you at the point note and the comment you said.
Now I'm audible?
Now, yeah, you are audible. Please.
Okay. Okay. So here, notes and comments are the same. Okay. See, in 365, you have an option to. See, I'll show you that. Then you can understand it much better. So I have shown this option to you while using paste special also. See, there is something known as notes in the review tab and comments. See, comments, something that comes with an ID, and notes are just the normal comments that you always saw in your Excel, previous version of Excel, like this. So these are notes now. They have changed the name to notes. These were usually comments actually. Okay. So when you choose that, okay. When you choose that, when I want to choose only cells that has got notes in it, I'll use it. I'll say Control G. I'll use this. I say select notes. It will select only cells that have got notes in it. See, it's left to my choice what I do with these cells. Whether I want to copy and paste it, delete it, color it, any action that I want to perform with it can be done. So now let's say I want to color it. I'll add color to it. You can see all these cells that have got notes in it are colored now. So next, other options I'll just show you. We have something known as constants here. Constants are cells that don't have formulas in them. They are mere data. They don't change when some input has been changed. Okay, it simply means there is no formulas present in those cells. So in constants, there are many types: numbers, text, logicals, and errors. Logicals means a true and false value are known as logicals. Now if I want to choose only numbers, I'll remove selection on these. In constants, I would like to choose only numbers and say okay. So this will help me only choose numbers from this data. So you can see it has skipped the errors. These three numbers that you see are not numbers, they are text. So when I select this, you can see here in the formula bar, or when I double click, you can check there is an apostrophe in the beginning. To make it a text value, we have deliberately given it. Okay. They are not numbers. So in the same manner, you could be selecting text, selecting logical values, or even errors for that matter. Now the same manner, I want to use formulas, let's say. So I have to first give some formulas here. I'll say sum and select these cells. And I'll copy paste this to few cells. So now I'll use this, go to special again. And I'll choose formulas this time. Within formulas, I want numerical formulas only. So it will only select those cells. Though I gave numbers, it did not select other numbers. I was specific to choose only formulas. So it has selected cells that has got formulas in it and also a numerical output from it. Clear? So just you can explore the entire thing like this. So I'll go for blanks now. I want to select only cells that has got blanks in it. So I'll choose blanks. So you can see all blank cells are selected at once. So in between also you have some blanks. That's the reason you get it. And last cell. See, I don't know how many of you know this. So I was speaking about this used range some time ago. Used range is the last row and the last column that I have used in a particular sheet. That's known as used range. So whenever this last row and a last column intersects, that is the last cell. So for this sheet, let us find out the last cell. I choose the last cell option. See, it will take me somewhere over here. S60 is the last cell. I have used this sheet till this S column and 60th row. That's the meaning of it. And visible cells only. See, this is going to be helpful when you are using in older versions usually. Or let me show you with an example. You will understand it better. See, I have some values here. I'll give some values here. And in between, I have some other values. Let's say. And I want to hide these rows. So right click, hide. Now that I have manually hidden those cells, I want to copy only cells that are visible to me. I directly select and copy, but you see what happens after pasting it. Can you see this? Even the hidden cells were pasted. That's because while performing copy operation, you should be specifying that you choose only visible cells. So if you don't do that, even the hidden cells would have got copied and even that gets pasted. So how to choose that? Say select. You need to select the area of the data here. Until now, all the other options that I discussed didn't require you to select anything. Just place your cursor in the sheet and use Ctrl G, it will work. But this one, visible cells only, make sure you select the cells. Even if you don't do that, it will select the entire sheet, which is not required for us. So only select the data and then apply go to special. So over here, I'll choose visible cells, say okay. And now if I copy this, you can see a line in between here. So it is avoiding, or it is, what to say, skipping all those hidden cells, and it is allowing us to copy paste only cells that are visible to us. So now you can see those hidden cells are not pasted. So is it clear till here? All the options, or do you have any other doubts in it?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So let me share another screen. So we are working on another chapter now. Yes. Can you see this sorting techniques over here?
Yes.
Okay. So click on this. See now, sorting techniques. So most of you do it, even most of you do it by applying filters. See, there are advanced ways of sorting in Excel, or I can say a proper way to do it. See, when I say sorting, it is to arrange the data. When you have to arrange the data, make sure you select the entire data at once, because each column in that data that we have is going to tell us a story. So let's say I choose this row. In this row, I can't say this column is not important, this is important. So we can't decide it like that. When I make a record based on the fields, it is one story of it. So if you consider this row, you can say James sold lightsabers to this customer type enterprise in West region. He sold 116 units. He gained 2,900 rupees on 11th Feb 16. So it makes sense like this. Now, if I sort something, or let's say only one particular column, all the data is gone for a toss. Because, so here, if some other data comes, North will come and sit here, then this is wrong. Doesn't belong to North. It should belong to West only. So while sorting, you should make sure you have selected the entire data. So I will select this. Alt DS is the shortcut. You can also, so if you are not getting this, you can also go here, sort and filter in the home tab and say choose custom sort. You will get this window. Either way. So you can also use Alt DS. I'll type it for you. Alt D S. So one key at a time. Alt once, D once, S once, not all together. Okay. So this is the shortcut key for applying sort. Now you select the data, as I said, completely, and you apply sort. So this is the custom sort window. See, in sorting, Excel allows us to sort the data top to bottom, left to right. You can see that when you click on options in this custom sort window, you click on options, you get to see sort top to bottom, sort left to right. So when you choose, the most common type is top to bottom only. We usually sort rows, but Excel also provides us a provision to sort even the columns, that is left to right. And you can also choose to be case sensitive while sorting if you wish to. So if the same word is written in two different cases, and if you want it to be sorted separately, you can do so. So okay, I have selected sort top to bottom as of now. Now I'll choose here. See, as soon as you choose sort top to bottom, this option gets enabled. My data has headers. See, if you don't select this, it will consider the column headers of the sheet, that is B, C, D column. And it will also display in the same way. Can you see here? Column B, C, D, E. But if you have chosen this, it will show you the column names of this or headings of this table. Another advantage of keeping this selected is while sorting your data, your header is not sorted. It is, it is skipped while sorting. It will stay constant on top. If you don't select this, even your headers get sorted. So then you have to search for your header. Okay. So you go here. You are going to choose based on which column the entire data is sorted. All the columns data must be sorted based on a particular column's value. Let's say I'll choose region. I want the data and I want to apply sort on the values present, or you can also choose other options like cell color, font color, conditional formatting icon. You can sort your data based on these many things. Most of the time, we only worry about values. Next, based on the data present in that column, it will automatically display the order. If it is a number, you see I choose sales, automatically it will change to smallest to largest or largest to smallest. If I choose a column with date, it will show me a different value there. So based on the data present in the column, you can see the change in the order also. Sort order also changes. So whatever is the value given here, smallest to largest, A to Z, oldest to newest, it all means one thing, ascending or descending. That's all. Whether you want it in ascending order or descending order is what you have to decide. We also have something known as custom list order that we'll discuss in the end. Currently, just make note of ascending and descending order. Now I want the data to be sorted entirely based on the region columns value. It's okay. You can check here. The data is arranged in ascending order. First is east, and later you can see north, and next you can see south, and then west. So it is arranged in that order. So as I said, it's not only this column, the entire data is arranged like this. You can also choose to apply sort on multiple columns if you wish to. Now I'll choose this, I'll again sort it and say I'll add a level. There is something known as add level. I'll click on it. As soon as I do that, you can observe here. The first column that I selected will be displayed as sort by. This next column will be displayed as then by. You choose here. I'll choose product here. First, I want my data to be sorted based on region. Next, by product. I'm giving product the second priority over region. And say okay. Over here, you can see east, and for east, it will show all kinds of products. So it is basically like this. I'll show in a notepad. Then you'll understand it better. Just give me a second. So it's like this. Are you able to see the notepad now? All of you?
Yes, Vijay.
Okay. So we gave region first. I gave the first priority to it. And it is being arranged in ascending order. So in region, we have east, north, south, and west. So when I'm arranging it this way, so whichever has got the second priority. So the next one that I have is product. And this is second priority. And this also is being arranged in ascending order only. But here we have the products arranged like this: glue guns, lightsabers, and transponders. So same thing applies to north and south and west also. For west as well. See. You understood? So though the product column is arranged in ascending order, but it will be grouped like this. The glue guns, lightsabers, transponders, products will repeat after each region, because first priority is always given to region here. If you change the priority, even the arrangement will change in your data. But never assume it will clash. Is that clear to all of you, how it will be arranged if you use multiple columns?
Yes.
Okay. So now I will. So the same thing applies to sorting based on number and date. So you can explore this by yourself. I'll show you how to sort by color now. I'll select the data. I'll say Alt DS. So over here, you need to choose the column which has got color in it. So now here, salesperson name is the column that I have. And I can choose here, sort on cell color. So if it is a cell color, choose cell color. If it is font color, like we have it in product, you have to choose font color for product column. So since I have cell color in salesperson name, I'll choose that. As soon as you choose color, you can see here, it will list all the colors present in that column. You need to choose which color you want to see. So if you choose only one particular color, only cells that have got that color will be sorted. Rest of them will be as it is, unsorted. Below that, let me show you. See, only this color is sorted. Let me jumble the colors, then you will understand it better. I'll arrange this data on some other column. Okay, so now the colors have got jumbled. Now you'll understand it. So now let's sort it based on the name of the salesperson, cell color, and choose any one particular color, let's say. See, only this green color is sorted. Rest of them you can see after this will be as it is. They are not sorted. Since I gave it to be displayed on top, it has arranged the cells on top. You can see the green colored cells will be arranged at the bottom. Now, if you want to arrange all these cells based on color, again go back, you can give an order, how you want it. You can just say copy level because it is on the same column. You just need to change the color, that's all. Copy. Now I have selected all the colors here. You can check it is arranged in the order that I gave. So I had given on bottom. So all colors. So this purple was given at the end. So this is appearing first. So clear about sorting based on colors.
Yes.
Okay. So the next two is a little different. I'll explain these two and I'll stop for the day. I'll choose by row. See, I was telling you that Excel has the provision to sort the colors, sort the columns from left to right. Not only rows, you can also use columns over here. See, now if you can observe the data properly, the years are not arranged in order. They are not in order. So I want to arrange them in a proper way. So when you're selecting columns, you could skip columns. So it doesn't affect because data is going to be present in the same row. Only the position of column is going to change. So it's not going to affect your data. I don't want the position of zone and drug column to change. So I'll not select them. I'll select only the numbers, cell columns that have got numbers here. And say Alt DS. You need to first go to options and change it from sort left to right. And you need to choose the row number here. So when you're choosing when you are choosing to sort left to right, you need to provide the row number based on which you want to sort it. Now here we have selected it from D7, 7th row is at the topmost one. So that is where we have the year values. So I'll choose row 7. We are sorting on values. You can choose either ascending or descending. I have chosen ascending order. So okay. You can see the years are arranged now. Next is custom list. We all remember this custom list preparation. So now let's say I don't want my data to be arranged in ascending and descending order. I have my own order to be followed. Even that is possible in Excel. I'll tell you. So let's say these are the drug names that we want to arrange, and I don't want them to be arranged in ascending order or descending order. I have my own custom order provided here. You can see the list of drugs arranged here like this. So this should be first created as a custom list. Only then I'll be able to sort it based on that. So let me create a custom list on this. On TO, we should go to Excel options and get this. Go to advanced. Scroll down until you see general section and take edit custom list. See here, I'll add these. I'll import them. It will be imported over here. And say okay. Once the custom list is ready, again you are going to choose the data. See, this is also again left to right arrangement. So I'm leaving behind the drug column as it is. I'll use Alt DS. I'll go here, choose the option sort left to right. Say okay. Again here the row 7 is the first row where we have all the drug names. I'll choose that. We are sorting on cell values, but the order, sort order, I'm going to change it to custom list here. And you need to choose based on which custom list you are arranging. And choose this drug names and say okay. See, currently you are seeing Crocin, Solidron, Action Find. As soon as I choose this and say sort, you can see the arrangement has changed. You can also see whether the order is correct by copying the headings and pasting it over here as transpose. You can verify it. See, they are in the same order that we sorted. Are there any doubts on this? None of you?
No.
It's good, Vinay.
Okay. So we'll stop the session here. So thank you all. I guess it went well. You all could hear me properly.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a great session. Both the sessions were great, in fact.
Okay. Thank you all. So see you all next week. I'll be sharing the material with you. So you can stop recording.